This past week's top Disney news stories include pieces on Pixar's new movie Soul, a Space Mountain movie, updates on shows at Disneyland Resort, and some updates on Broadway. And I'll have what's new over on Disney+, so stay tuned and I'll break it all down. Well, hello there. My name's Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Disney, where I talk about all aspects of Disney, from the animated movies to the theme parks to Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar, and the TV shows, and everything else in between. And that is why it's Freeform. And keep coming back every day for new daily content. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now it's time once more to talk about the past week's biggest Disney news stories. So first, let's dive on into some Pixar news. We found out a few things on Soul. First off, Soul is going to Disney+. Now, it's going to be a little later than the previously scheduled November 20th. It will be coming out on Christmas Day, December 25th of this year. And no extra cost. This won't be the Milan model. It will just be available to everyone with a Disney+ subscription without any extra cost on top of that, which is pretty cool. So this is not the biggest surprise. It's going to Disney+. Again, the rumors were heavy, and also with all the other movies getting delayed, the giant movies with big delays, and yet we heard nothing about Soul. So it was fishy a little bit. You kind of suspected that rumor about it going to Disney+ was probably right. But hey, that there's going to be no extra cost? Oh, that's great. Certainly love that right there. Looking forward to seeing it here in, hey, just another couple and a half months. Speaking of Soul, we also just found out that they are making a behind-the-scenes documentary, and, well, it'll be coming out sometime in the future. Don't know when exactly, as no info on that is out. Now, here's hoping this is going to be like a whole docu-series rather than just a documentary movie kind of thing. Maybe say like Disney Gallery The Mandalorian or Into the Unknown Making Frozen 2. Both of those were great going behind the show or the movie as they were doing. Would love to see it in that vein. Now, also, it's going to be really interesting to get to see their reaction to the pandemic and how they shifted over, because they finished the last 7 weeks of their production remotely. So that's going to be really interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they were able to shoot that and what they're able to show, too. And while we're talking about movies, let's move on to a quick bit of movie news. So we have another new movie coming up, and this is based on a popular ride, Space Mountain. So, yep, one more of Disneyland's classic attractions is now getting turned into another movie. And hey, they've been hit or miss as far as those being turned into movies, but hopefully this one will be a good one. Apparently we've got screenwriter Joby Harold coming in, and he's the one who's currently writing the Obi-Wan series. So, definitely hoping he's a good writer, because I have big hopes for the Obi-Wan series, and hopefully this will be good too. And while we're talking about series and, well, movies and such, let's talk some Disney Plus news. Now, there's no major Marvel news this week, but the Marvel collection page over on Disney Plus has actually gone through a nice upgrade in the not too distant past. So there are now sections for each of the phases with the movies in release order in each of those. And then also a section with all the movies in timeline chronological order. Nice. I mean, these are the ways that are so much more useful for us as fans for seeing the movies if we're looking for them up on Disney+. Now, I should note that the Spider-Man movies and Incredible Hulk are still not up on Disney+. Problem with the rights and the Sony aspect on Spider-Man stuff, and hope maybe someday we'll have all of the MCU movies actually up there. We'll see. Now, the other piece of Disney Plus news is that coming up soon, maybe in the middle of November, we'll find out just how well Mulan performed on Disney+. And that's because the fourth quarter financial results for the Walt Disney Company are going to be reported via webcast on November 12th of this year. And so, yeah, heavy expectations that we'll get to find out how well Mulan did and whether it was a good investment, if it worked. And hey, that will bode a lot of information for the future as to what's going to happen and what might not happen. If it did gangbusters for them, well, then this is certainly not the end of that model right there. We'll see what we see, right? Moving over to some theme park news, I'll make a quick mention that there is the ever-continuing controversy between Disney and California. onward goes the fight in terms of opening up Disneyland. Disney's busy putting out their own press releases and complaints and etc. And the state of California is fighting right back and forth it goes. Whatever happens there will happen. Moving on. Some not so great news. Some shows at Disneyland have ended their run. Both Frozen live at the Hyperion and Mickey and the Magical Lamp have both ended, and this is going to lead to at least 214 actors being laid off, apparently. Now, it should be noted that while the shows are technically permanently closed, Disney has reopened shows in the past, so it is possible it's temporary. But on the other hand, it could be the end for both of those, and yeah. Oh, man, I've seen both the last time I was over there in Disneyland, and I enjoyed Mickey and the Magical Lamp enough, but Frozen, loved seeing that. And the way they have the rotating cast through means you just get to see it again and again, and you actually get a slightly different show every time. Now, at theater, you always get a slightly different show in fairness. But when the cast are switching out and you just have some different people in there than the last time you saw it, it's interesting how they play off each other. And yeah, get your people you really like playing this part, or the chemistry between these two characters working really well, and that was really neat. Saw that a few times the last time I was at Disneyland. So, be sad to have that one gone. Maybe it'll come back, we'll see. But all good things anyway, and on to another show, I suppose, if that is the true end of it. And, as always, feel sad for all the actors who are done with their roles right there. I mean, it's always sad to come to the end of doing any kind of performance, but like this, it's so much worse right there. You don't get any closure to it. It's not expected. Yeah, no, I feel sad for the actors who are suddenly out of their projects. Well, anyway, on to some other Disney news, but still on the theater front. So we're going to talk Broadway now. We have now found out that Broadway will be closed at least through May of next year. Now, that's certainly relevant to Disney, as there are multiple Disney shows that are currently still on hiatus until Broadway opens back up. And it should also be noted that if Broadway isn't opening back up till May of next year, that probably calls into question a little bit as far as any movie openings that are still scheduled before May of next year. We'll see. We'll see what goes on, what happens. It's still a ways off till May. Now, that said, on a different piece of Broadway news, there's going to be a new benefit concert happening on Halloween, and it's going to be The Nightmare Before Christmas. So a bunch of Broadway stars are going to get out together and interpret the songs from their homes using items and clothing that they already have available. And it's going to be $5 to view on Vimeo starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to remain available for 24 hours after that. Now, they're splitting the money between the Lymphoma Research Foundation and the Actors Fund. And I'm going to have a link down below in the description if you're interested, or feel free to just Google it and go take a check out on that. Definitely, it sounds like it will certainly be fun, and money will go to a good cause. And one last interesting piece of Disney news is that Disney has a new meant-to-be line of books that they will be starting to put out, which are going to adapt Disney princesses into contemporary stories for adult audiences. Now, normally, Disney, of course, focuses on kids, teens, etc. So this is one of the first times, if not the first time, that they've really looked at, say, the Disney princesses and books for adults, which is pretty neat, actually. Now, the first of these is going to be a new take on Cinderella, and it's going to be titled If the Shoe Fits. Now, it's by author Julie Murphy, who's well known for having written Dumpling. I mean, this is an interesting new way for Disney to go, looking at actually making books for adults. And I love the fact that they're doing that. So here's hoping some of this is successful and they do some more focus on that kind of direction as well. And hey, let's move right along. What's new on Disney Plus? So Friday, October 9th saw a bunch of titles added to Disney Plus. The highlights there for me include a couple Disney Plus originals that have some new stuff coming out. First off, The Right Stuff premiered. It had 2 episodes come out right off the bat. We had Sierra Hotel and Goodies, and I enjoyed them. I did a video on them. If you're curious to see more, definitely go ahead and check that out. And then we also had a new episode of Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom. Its 3rd episode, and this one was Betty and the Beast. And I did a video on that one too, so feel free to check that one out. Now, also, there are a couple old movies came up. We got X2 up there finally. Some more of the mutants are making their way over to Disney+. Almost there. We still got a bit more to go. We've also got the Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. That's up. And on the National Geographic front, we always have a few more over there. We've got Oil Spill of the Century and Wild Portugal. And as always, One Day at Disney has another new episode. This one looks at Gabriella Clark, who works over in the creative print marketing for Disney. Always take more of those. So yeah, one more there. And hey, that is the news for this week. And so, well, what about you? What do you think about Soul coming to Disney+? And do you have any thoughts about the ending of Frozen and Mickey and the Magical Lamp over at Disneyland Resort? Let me know down below in the comments. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you loved the video, please help me out. Give it a like, share it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new video for Freeform Disney. Have a magical day, and may the force be with you always.